I still remember where I was on 9/11. I had been going through a pretty rough summer, and I was beginning middle school, and it was in our school cafeteria. My mom had come to pick us up. She wouldn't tell us what happened. We had thought that something had happened to our step granddad. He had Alzheimer's at the time, and what happened to him was that he ended up having a ruined 77th birthday, because it was his 77th birthday, and we found it out later. But then my mom got us in the car, basically told us, she was going to tell us when we got home and all that, explain to us what had happened, and she made us mostly focus on the cartoons and stuff. She didn't want us seeing any news coverage because we were only 11 and we'd already been through some rough stuff, and it was just a rough day. And also when we were trying to leave, my dad, and of course this is before we got home and all that, but my dad, make a long story short, he was being who he was being, and he tried to stop us under the excuse of, he was trying to check that we were okay, and we knew that's not really what was going on with him. He was just being who he was being that day, and I guess for him it was a crisis too good to waste kind of thing, and with, who he was, and and then later we were calling everyone to check if they were okay. It turned out that my Uncle Mark was down at the Pentagon that day, and he ended up being okay. And as far as we know, we didn't lose anybody. But after that, my life really did change. The first time I had learned about something called Islam, and one of my classmates who is a Mohammedan or a Muslim actually had been perceived by me as a Hindu. I didn't even know what Mohammedanism was, and if I did know, I didn't really think about it, and my eyes were really open to that the world was worse than I thought it was, and just basically my whole life changed on September 11th, and I had been watching both CNN and Fox News that day, I think, at some points, or at least the days after the attacks. And then once the Columbia shuttle disaster happened, that was the last time we ever watched CNN. And then the first time I'd really started watching the news was when we had made a key milestone in the War on Terror, which is when we caught Saddam Hussein. I remember I was at my dad's house, 8 o'clock in the morning, December 14th, 2003. We were sitting on the couch watching the coverage, and then caught Saddam Hussein. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him, and everyone was cheering and all that when he said that. And then I also remember where I was during the Bin Laden thing, and obviously I posted a video of that. I was hoping that Andy Levy and the CBS reporter weren't joking, and then when Geraldo found out, when Geraldo confirmed it, it was like, they finally got Bin Laden. And it's like what Geraldo and others have said, this generation has pretty much spent our whole lives, and pretty much our formidable years, which is when we were in middle school and stuff, and some of us just entering middle school, or just finishing up elementary school, or whatever. I was finishing up middle school. Or, excuse me, I was just entering middle school. I had already finished elementary school. So, I mean, I remember a lot of the War on Terror, which began on September 11th, and then a lot of the key milestones. And I guess that's where I was beginning on that September day.